There was a man who knew it would fail. He had the photographs, he had the reports. 2 days later, 10,000 men jumped. The kill chain. September 1944. The liberation of Europe was accelerating. Here at the kill chain, we dissect what commanders knew. By early September, Allied supply lines were dangerously overstretched. 3 armies could advance, only one road led north. The operation they would call a bridge too far. 3 airborne divisions, 8 bridges, 64 miles. The 101st Airborne drops near Eindhoven, the 82nd near Nijmegen. The British 1st Airborne drops north of Arnhem. If XXX Corps reached Arnhem in 3 days, it worked. If not, 10,000 British paratroopers would fight alone. Now the intelligence. This is what makes this story different. Ultra confirmed the 9th and 10th SS Panzer divisions nearby. September 5th, divisions confirmed, refitting north of Arnhem. Major Urquhart, I Airborne Corps Intelligence Chief, saw the photographs. The photographs showed SS Panzer tanks hidden under the trees. He brought the photographs to General Browning. He was ignored. September 15th, General Bedell Smith delivered the warning personally. Montgomery dismissed Smith's warning. The plan would not change. What would you have done? You are Browning. Montgomery says the SS are exhausted. What do you choose? Urquhart pushed back. Browning had him committed to a hospital. Nervous exhaustion. 2 days before the largest airborne operation. The War Diary, after-action reports and Urquhart's memoir agree. The operation was approved. September 17th was set. In Arnhem's forests, 2 SS Panzer divisions were waiting. Bittrich, II SS Panzer Corps commander, awaited his orders. The men who would stop Market Garden were waiting. September 17th, 1944, 935 hours, the sky opened. Over 1,500 aircraft, 478 gliders. The 101st Airborne dropped south. Their mission, hold the highway. The 82nd Airborne drops at Nijmegen, bridges over the Vaal. The British 1st Airborne drops at Wolfhez, 8 miles away. The radios were already failing when the first men landed. The Type 22 set had 5 kilometers of range. The 1 Battalion moved through Arnhem streets toward the bridge. Lieutenant Colonel Frost led 750 men. They reached the bridge. They seized the north end. The south remained German-held. They dug in. Houses on both sides became fortresses. The rest of 1st Airborne was lost in Arnhem streets. Bittrich's response was immediate. He identified Market Garden within hours. The 9th SS moved against Frost. The 10th blocked south. Meanwhile, on Hell's Highway, XXX Corps had already stalled. At this point, the commander had 3 choices. Push through at night or wait for dawn. XXX Corps waited for dawn, 7 miles on day 1. In Arnhem, Frost's radios could not reach anyone. The War Diary for September 17th, no communications established. Divisional HQ wouldn't learn Frost held the bridge for 12. The second lift flew next day into German-held positions. Resupply aircraft dropped mostly into German hands. Frost's men held the north end through the first night. The 2nd SS Panzer tried forcing the bridge at 300. Frost's men repulsed 12 German attacks in 24 hours. Cornelius Ryan interviewed 1,100 survivors. His conclusion was damning. The operation was not merely a failure, it was preventable. The sources disagree. Did Browning know the full SS strength? The official history claims one thing, signals logs say otherwise. In our assessment, the worst intelligence dismissal of this war. Frost's perimeter was shrinking. German armor tightened the noose. The moment we described at the opening, it's 40 minutes away. They didn't know XXX Corps was stalled 50 miles south. The Polish brigade was delayed by weather until September 21. Sosabowski warned the plan was too ambitious. He was overruled. The record shows the same pattern, dismissed, overruled. By September 19th, Frost's ammunition was running low. Buildings were burning. Medical supplies were nearly exhausted. Frost's men had been ordered to hold 48 hours. 90 miles south, XXX Corps was approaching Nijmegen. The Nijmegen Bridge was still German-held. A battle was required. The 81st Airborne crossed the Vaal River under fire. September 20th, the Nijmegen Bridge was finally captured. XXX Corps halted. 18 hours passed. Why did no one advance? 11 miles. Frost had 3 days. XXX Corps sat still. The XXX Corps after-action report gives 4 reasons for that. The historians on both sides of this debate are divided. Those 18 hours cost the operation. The evidence is clear. In Arnhem, September 20th was the worst day yet. German panzers demolished the houses one by one, systematically. Frost was wounded by mortar fire. He commanded from A. He refused evacuation. He remained in command of his perimeter. The enemy perspective is in Bittrich's own after-action report. Bittrich wrote, "The British fought with uncommon bravery." The intelligence officer who saw this coming, he was right all along. September 21st, the Poles finally jumped, too late. They landed south of the Rhine. Frost was north. 200 Polish paratroopers crossed the Rhine under fire. They covered the last British withdrawal. It was already over. The intelligence report was right. Every detail, every position. Frost's men were ordered to hold 48 hours. They held. By September 21st, fewer than 200 were still fighting. German armor was firing point-blank at the remaining houses. The wounded could not be moved. Buildings burned around them. A German SS officer arranged a ceasefire for the wounded. Frost was captured September 21st. He commanded from a stretcher. Organized resistance at the Arnhem Bridge ended that morning. Every thread converged. The breakout failed. The encirclement was complete. The order was inevitable. The order came anyway. September 25th, Operation Berlin. Survivors ordered to withdraw. They crossed the Rhine in darkness, in silence, under fire. Of 10,000 men, 2,398 came out. The rest were dead or in prisoner of war camps. Total Allied casualties, more than 17,000 in 9 days. 81 of Frost's 750 died at the bridge. The Dutch civilian cost was equally catastrophic, the hunger winter. 20,000 Dutch civilians died in the hunger winter, 1,944.45. This cost was unaddressed in the British after-action reports. The war lasted 8 months more. Market Garden shortened nothing. Montgomery wrote, "We were wrong about the Twund SS Panzer. Its battle state was far beyond our expectation." He published this in 1958. 14 years after the operation. Major Brian Urquhart served the United Nations for 30 years. He died at 101. He never received. Sosabowski was blamed for Market Garden's failure by British command. He was stripped of command, the man who had been. In 2006, Netherlands awarded Sosabowski the Military Order of William, the highest Dutch military decoration, 62 years late. Every airborne doctrine written after 1945 references Arnhem. Drop zone criteria were rewritten. Intelligence dismissal protocols changed. Communication standards for airborne operations were completely overhauled. Every NATO airborne officer after 1950 trained on Market Gardens. The Arnhem case is taught at war colleges on every. This disaster led directly to one doctrine principle above all. Never dismiss your intelligence officer, especially when they have photographs. What went wrong at Market Garden was deliberate blindness. Subscribe to the Kill Chain. We analyze decisions, not battles. Next time, an operation where intelligence was right and ignored. Return to where we started. One man, one set of. Brian Urquhart saw what the photographs showed. He was arrested. 10,000 men jumped into those photographs 2 days later. The bridge they needed to cross still stands over the. It carries the name of the man who held it. The War Diary's final entry for Frost's battalion reads simply. That silence tells us everything about what happened at the 17,000 casualties, for a bridge that was never crossed, for a war that lasted 8 more months. The full tactical breakdown is in the description, sources listed. Was Market Garden avoidable? Tell us in the comments. What does this operation tell us about command culture? The 9th SS Panzer refitted in those forests. Nobody stopped. The intelligence was there. The decision was to ignore it. The commanders who silenced the warnings did not face accountability. Urquhart went to the UN. Sosabowski went home stripped of. The bridge remained in German hands for another 7 months. The Allies finally crossed the Rhine at Remagen, March 1945. 6 months after Market Garden, a different army took the. One cold truth remains from Operation Market Garden. The photographs were right. The soldiers who jumped paid the